Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Win, Lose or Draw. And today there's a bit of a twist. I've got rid of the wheel for this week, as you can tell by the thumbnail, and I've replaced it with a couple of dogs. Let's get into today's video. So the first thing to do is look back at how we did this weekend, and I don't want to gloat, but I had a pretty successful weekend. 8 out of 12 correct. I'm delighted with that. Obviously, 2 of the ones I got wrong were pretty wrong. I said that Luton and Barnsley would win and they got absolutely smashed. I think you guys did as well though. You guys got 5 out of 12 correct as well. Not bad at all. And the wheel, 4 out of 12, pretty poor, and that's why it's been replaced by the Hounds. We'll see how Zuri and Cuba get on later, but first let's have a look at our predictions for this midweek. So Nottingham Forest versus Fulham first up, and what a game this promises to be. 4th versus 5th. I think this is where they'll finish. I'm just not sure in which order, and of course that means those two will play each other in the playoff semi-finals. 2 legs. Can't wait for that if that does materialise. If Forest win this one, they go above Fulham, which could be good for their confidence, but their confidence took a knock, didn't it, with that 95th minute conceded goal against Derby. What was Bryce Samba doing from the free kick? What was the defender doing giving the free kick away in the first place? They'll be fuming they didn't win that one. Meanwhile, Fulham themselves needed a late goal to get past Birmingham. Just in the last minute, Scott Parker got his side that win. Josh Onomah with the goal, and that makes it back-to-back wins for Fulham. But I don't think they've been at their best since the restart, and for that reason and a couple of others, I like how Forest have been playing. I'm going for a home win. I'm going for Forest. Let's have a look at what you guys thought. You guys agree with me on this one. 70% of you think Forest will get the job done and leapfrog Fulham. From the top of the table to the bottom, Luton versus Barnsley, 24th versus 23rd. This is one hell of a relegation scrap, isn't it? Both sides took an absolute drubbing this weekend. Luton lost 5-0 at home to Reading. Got absolutely hammered, back to earth with a bang, I think, for both teams, really. Barnsley got beaten 4-0 at Stoke. No one saw those results coming, really. They were both really, really poor, and to be honest, neither side can afford to lose this game, in my opinion, if they want to stay up, which is why it's so exciting. I'm going for a Luton win, not much reasoning behind it. I think Nathan Jones will have a bounce back, have a reaction from his side after that home loss. Barnsley are going to be fighting. I think it's going to be incredibly close, but I'm going for Luton. You guys, meanwhile, disagree with me. Barnsley, you've gone with 55% here. Think Barnsley will get the points here and get the job done. It's going to be a really crucial game, this one. And from Luton to their conquerors, Reading, who take on Huddersfield in midweek. Obviously, that 5-0 win was huge for them. Yakou Mate, 4 goals. That performance, one of the best I've seen this season in the Championship. He was lethal in front of goal, and Huddersfield have got to watch out for him. He was direct, his finishing was spot on. It was a brilliant performance. I really enjoyed it. Danny Cowley, meanwhile, got 0-0 with Preston. He's keeping those points ticking over. They're currently in 20th on 46. They're going to need a couple more points, a couple more wins to make themselves safe, but they are ticking over quite nicely. And I think they'll tick over again here nicely and pick up a point. I think they'll get a draw. Be a good result for Huddersfield, that, I think. Meanwhile, you guys disagree once more. I'm glad we're disagreeing here. 58% of you think that Reading are going to win this one. On to Brentford versus Charlton, and one man we need to mention, probably the best player in the Championship side, Ben Rama. A hat-trick against Wigan. What a hat-trick it was. He is phenomenal, and he's going to be in the Premier League next season, whether Brentford are there or not. He was absolutely incredible, and we loved watching him when he's in that kind of mood. Charlton, meanwhile, a 1-0 loss to Millwall on Friday. It was a bit stagnant from them, wasn't it? It's a bit of a struggle in front of goal for Charlton at the moment. I mean, look at their results since the restart. They won 1-0, won 1-0, a 0-0 draw and a 1-0 loss. I mean, they're not exciting games, are they? They're pretty boring. They need to improve without Lyle Taylor going forward. They need to find a solution. Lee Bowler needs to try something different. But this is too tough a game for them. I think Brentford are going to win, and you guys, unsurprisingly, agree with me. 60% of you think that Brentford are going to get the win here and keep up the pressure on the top 2. 6th place, Cardiff host Blackburn next for them, and they've been good, haven't they, since the restart? They've leapt over a couple of teams and made a bit of a gap to the playoffs. That 1-0 win over Bristol City. Danny Ward late on, that was important for them. Another 3 points. And now they're 3 points clear of 7th place Derby. So it's a nice gap for Cardiff to have, but they'll want to get the job done here. Meanwhile, Blackburn, can't say the same for them. 3 defeats on the spin now for Tony Mowbray's men. Obviously, last time out was against Leeds, so not too bad to lose that one. But I'm going for Cardiff here. Again, another home win. And you guys agree with me, which is quite nice. 67% of you think Cardiff will win, and it's been a really impressive run of form for them, hasn't it? Up next, Millwall versus Borough, and Millwall need to keep winning to push for the playoffs. Obviously, they got that 1-0 win at Charlton, which was quite impressive. Jake Cooper with the goal late on. Meanwhile, what on earth is happening at Middlesbrough? We thought Neil Warnock would get them back on track, but their last 2 games have not only been defeats, but really poor performances. That 2-1 loss against Hull was damaging, but the 1-0 home loss against QPR was perhaps even more so. I mean, they offered nothing. The players, I don't know what's going on there. Usually Warnock can galvanise the squad, but the players look a bit lost, really. I don't know what's happening there. They're in serious danger of going down. They're in 22nd, obviously occupying a relegation place at the minute, but that's not taking into account Wigan's possible points deduction. They still have a chance. They're going to need to fight for every point, and I think they're going to do so here. I'm picking a draw. You guys disagree. Quite clearly, Millwall are the stronger side here. 86% of you, that's huge to think that Millwall will win. I think Warnock will galvanise his team to a point. On to West Brom versus Derby. Another great game in the Championship this midweek. West Brom had that 4-2 win over Hull, where it looked like they might drop points for most of the game before they came roaring back. But a point we need to mention is that Higazi got sent off late on, didn't he? So he'll miss this one. Could be a miss at the back for West Brom. And Derby, they managed to get that late goal. Chris Martin popped up with the equaliser at Forest. That'll give them a bit of encouragement, but they didn't look like they were going to win that game at any point. I've tossed and turned about this one, but I'm going to go for a home win. Playing it safe, really, you could say for me. I think Derby will push them, but I'm going for a West Brom win. Meanwhile, you guys agree with me here. 60% of you, that's quite a hefty majority, think that West Brom will get the job done. Bristol City versus Hull next, and life after Lee Johnson at Ashton Gate. It's going to be Dean Holden will be in charge for City, and it's going to be interesting to see how the players react to him. Usually they're boosted when a manager leaves, but I don't think there was any particular ill feeling towards Johnson himself, so it's going to be an interesting one. We're not sure who the new manager is going to be, but I did a video on it if you want to go and check that out. There's some great names in the running, but for this fixture, you know, Hull had a pretty good performance at West Brom. We mentioned they lost 4-2, but 2 goals. You know, Malik Wilks, he's in good form. He scored a great header. He could cause them problems. So for that reason, with Hull in 21st, I think they're going to need a point here, and I'm going to sit on the fence and go for a draw. We're not sure how Bristol City are going to react, so I can't decide. You guys think they'll respond much better. You guys have gone 66% of you think Bristol City will win this one. Birmingham versus Swansea now, and Birmingham reeling a bit still from that late goal conceded at Fulham, although it was quite a good performance from them unexpectedly. Meanwhile, Swansea got that 2-1 win over Sheffield Wednesday, and Steve Cooper seems to have got them going. They're picking up points. They need to close that 4-point gap between them and Cardiff if they're going to make the playoffs at the end of the season, so they'll need to win games like this, and I think they're going to. I think they'll get the job done. I'm impressed with them at the moment. You guys agree with me? 53% of you think Swansea will beat Birmingham. Wigan versus QPR next, and this is huge for Wigan, isn't it? I mean, they need to win these types of games. No one really expected them to get anything at Brentford, and they didn't. They got beaten 3-0. But these are the games that they really, really need to win at home to QPR. If they're going to stay up with that points deduction, they need 3 points here. Paul Cook needs to recharge his side, refresh it, and get them focused, get them playing how they were before that Brentford game, before the points deduction. Meanwhile, QPR got that decent win at Borough, didn't they? Good performance from them, albeit against a really poor Borough side. And because Wigan need the win so much, I'm backing Paul Cook's men to do it. They've got good home form since the restart, and they're going to get the job done here. You guys think the same. 56% of you think that Wigan will win this one. Sheffield Wednesday versus Preston now, on 2 sides who have tailed off a bit, haven't they? 2 defeats in a row for Wednesday now, having lost 2-1 to Swansea. Meanwhile, Preston 0-0 at Huddersfield, and both their seasons are kind of fizzling out. For me, I think Preston, although they're only a few points off the playoffs, they're down in 10th. I don't think they're going to make it. I don't think the players think they're going to make it now either. Tough one to call this one. I've gone straight down the middle for a draw. You guys think that Preston will be able to get the job done and keep that push going for the playoffs. Leeds versus Stoke up next, and I think if Leeds win this game, they're pretty much there. The promised land in the Premier League. I think if they get another few wins, they'll be there, and this is going to be a huge step for them. Top of the league, obviously they beat Blackburn 3-1 last time out, a good performance. That Calvin Phillips free kick was brilliant, of course. And then Stoke 4-0 winners, over Barnsley. They played very, very well in that game. Tyrese Campbell, mentioned to him, how good was he in front of the goal? That flicked finish, 2 goals to his name. He'll need to be on top form if they're going to get anything here. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Leeds are going to get another step closer to the Premier League. And unsurprisingly, you guys agree with me. 79% of you think that Leeds will win this one. So they are our predictions. I'm pretty happy with them. I'm pretty happy with your guys' predictions as well. We've got another packed midweek of Championship action. But now it's not time for the wheel. It's time to see how the dogs got on. How did they predict these fixtures to go? Let's find out.
Okay, so here are the 3 treats. Here is the dog. She's going for a draw in the first game. Okay, Zuri. Okay, and ignore the other eating. She's gone for a draw. For the second game, which is Luton versus Barnsley, taking a slow approach to this one. Come on, Zuri. Which one? Come on. Which treat? And another draw. Now Reading Huddersfield, Zuri. Who's going to win? Reading here, Huddersfield here. Come on. Pick one. Oh, a Reading win. Interesting. We're on to Brentford, Charlton. Zuri, pick one. Pick a treat. Brentford here, Charlton here. Pick one, come on. Oh, she's a Brentford fan, it seems. Cardiff versus Blackburn, Zuri. Who's going to win? Come on. Cardiff here, Blackburn there. Cardiff home win from Zuri. She doesn't seem too interested in Millwall v Middlesbrough. Come on, pick one. Anything? Have you had enough treats? What's going on, Zuri? Pick one. We need to know who's going to win.
2 hours later.
Come on, Bean. A substitution, and on his Cuba, he looks more interested. Who are you going to pick? Pick one, Cube. This is West Brom, Derby. Go on, Cuba, eat one. Good boy. Another draw. The dog's like a draw. Okay, this one is Bristol City versus Hull. Who are you picking, Cube? Come on. Oh, a Bristol City home win. Another very relaxed approach here to Birmingham, Swansea. Birmingham here, Swansea here. Cuba, pick one. Good boy. Come on. Oh, Swansea thinks we're going to win this one. Oh, that was Wigan QPR. I don't know if you caught it, but it was a draw. He was very quick on that one. This is Sheffield Wednesday, Preston. He's gone for a Preston win. The big finale. We're bringing the sausage out, okay? This is for Leeds, Stoke. Leeds here, Stoke here. Cuba, who's going to win? Go on. Come on, Cubey. A draw in Leeds, Stoke.
Well, perhaps the middle biscuit there was the most interesting for the dogs because they've picked an awful lot of draws, haven't they? Let's have a look at the complete results table or the predictions table. We've both predicted Leeds, West Brom and Brentford to win. Unsurprisingly, the teams at the top, not bad at all, but we've got a few differing views as well, which is great. The dogs are going draw mad. If there's loads of draws, they're going to do well. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the table, the odds, 33,217 for 1-4 me. That's quite high, to be honest with you. Meanwhile, you guys, 9,673 to 1. That's more in the reasonable ballpark of predicting these 12 fixtures. And the dogs, 177,842 to 1, which seems incredibly high. But let's not forget, the wheel last time was at 1,000,000 to 1, and we saw how badly that went. So let's back the dogs and hope they do quite well. If you've enjoyed this video, this series I'm doing, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate all of the support. But for now, guys, I'll see you on the next one.